Hello.
Then, now,
Showdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, I'm looking at episode number, I think it's 132 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for ECW April the 8th, 2025. It is the second to last show before WrestleMania for the ECW brand. And tonight we have what to be announced? ZSJ against Austin Theory in a Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal preview match. We also have Brody King of the House of Black against Eric Rowan of the Wyatt 7. And just announced now, we have... we'll announce it in the opening segment, so ignore that I said anything, actually. But, we have a whole lot more, so without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We start the show with a pre-tape in Ava's GM office. She's got Blair, Florence, and Ruby with her, and she's like, ladies, I know it's going to take a lot of restraint from you three, but we're so close to WrestleMania now, I need you free to, leave this office and not attack each other. But I actually have something that will all interest all three of you here tonight, because with WrestleMania just around the corner, we need to see which one of you is the best pole to be the ECW Women's Champion. And tonight, it's not going to be my job to find out. It's going to be your own jobs, because we're going to do a three-way pick your poison. Florence, you'll choose for Ruby. Ruby, you'll choose for Blair. And Blair, you'll choose for Florence. And, Florence laughs immediately and she goes, great. Well, I already know exactly who I've got to go speak to, so Ruby better go get her gear ready on, because that's going to happen right at the start of the show. Because I know just the way to make Ruby regret everything ahead of WrestleMania. Because, will you? Because I'm the ECW Women's Champion, and I know whatever you do, you can't put a stop to me. Florence goes, we'll see. She just walks off. And then the actual show starts with Ruby coming to the ring. And out comes Florence onto the ramp with her microphone. She goes, Ruby, ECW Women's Champion, it was really hard for me to try and find one person here on ECW to face off against you. That's why I didn't get one person. I got 4. Ruby, best of luck. So tonight you will face off against Lucy Striker, Nene Yarazawa, Samantha Riggs, and Tracy Sharrow of Next Gen. Out come the 4 Next Gen girls. They're all faceless because they haven't made their pictures yet. But trust me, they do all still look the same like they have always looked. But yeah, it's the 4 non-Kathy Cool Next Gen girls against Ruby Riott in our opening match in a 4-on-1 handicap match. And Ruby, she tries to give it her own, but obviously the numbers are against her. And she isn't actually pinned, though, because she wins the match by DQ, because Naomi, of all people, hops the barricade. And she starts attacking Tracy Sharrow at ringside, and the referee's like, well, that's a DQ. So technically Next Gen do pick up the victory, but it's by DQ, because Naomi just comes in and starts wailing on them all with a steel chair. But, yeah, Florence's plan, I guess, kind of worked, because Ruby didn't win, but I don't think she quite left in the state that she was hoping that she would. 93 for Ruby, 64 for Lucy, 62 for Samantha Riggs, 69 for Tracy Sharrow, and a 73 for Nene Yarazawa. And then after the match, Naomi gets into the ring. She's got a steel chair. She starts wailing on the Next Gen girls. She actually hands the chair over to Ruby. And Ruby also, joins in, and they start attacking 2 members each with chairs. When Shantae rushes out. And she, gets in. Naomi goes, hey, what the hell are you doing out here? She goes, I'm trying to help you. Okay, this is what you should be doing. I've taken out the numbers game, so at WrestleMania it could be all you. You can be one-on-one with that bitch, Kathy. And you can win that championship. You should be thanking me. And Shantae just, snatches the chair off Naomi, throws it on the floor, and she goes, no. I don't want this. Okay, you're not helping me. I want to win and prove that I do it by myself. Naomi goes, bitch, you still can. but it's Kathy who can't do it by herself, and I'm just evening the odds for you. Don't you see? And Shantae sort of does sigh. She's like, sure, but this isn't us. And she walks out, and then Naomi follows her out. But yes, she's had to step in and stop Naomi from waylaying on the next gen girls. But then cut backstage, Kelly Kincaid is with Jacob Fatu. And Kelly says, Jacob, in just over a week it's WrestleMania, and you have the chance to capture your first world championship here in WWE. Your rise over the past few months has been great to see. And, what are your thoughts on that? And, your family's tribal warfare set for WrestleMania. And he goes, hey, I know Big Chief Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jay, Solo, all of them, they got this family business on lock. Because that ain't about me. I ain't getting involved in that business. What my business is WrestleMania. My business is Warden, and my business is that ECW championship. You see, I was in there with 4 of the very best in that Iron Survivor, and I came out on top. Me and Warden last week, he got to take me out. He tried to blind me, but I'm still here standing because you gotta kill me to stop me. And at WrestleMania, you're looking at the new ECW World Champion. I don't give a damn how many times Warden gets the jump on me, takes me out. I'ma still get back up because he ain't got that silver bullet to kill this Samoan werewolf just yet. You know what I mean? We then cut to the doctor's office where the doctor is checking on the 4 next gen girls, and Shantae's in there like, are they okay? Like, I'm sorry about her. Then Kathy Coolstorms and she goes, what the hell was that? Okay, so you knew that was going down, right? You can't sit here and try and pretend that you didn't know that your tag team partner was going to come out there and waylay my friends. Okay, what, because you think that I'm going to bring them with me at WrestleMania? Newsflash, I was going to bring maybe one of them to watch my back if Naomi was out there to watch yours, but now you kind of want me to bring all of my girls out there, because now I don't know if I can trust you because of what happened out there. Shantae goes, you can see that I'm trying to help your friends here. You can see that I've left Naomi to her own vices and I'm checking up on your friends, and I got here sooner than you did. So I clearly care about your friends more than you care about your friends, but that doesn't matter because this isn't about those, and it's not about Naomi. This is about you and I and that championship. Because I don't care what happens, I'm going to prove that I belong. I wish that Naomi didn't attack your friends, but I truly hope they get better soon, because they need to be there to watch WrestleMania. Because no matter how many of them you bring, it's not going to stop me and my determination and my heart to take my first championship here in WWE. Okay, because that's the spirit I like. Just Naomi, she's getting in your ear a bit too much. If I was her, if I was you, I'd cut her loose by now. She's a bit of a loose cannon. I'm not sure you can trust her, but you can trust me when I say that WrestleMania, you and I, it'll be a fair fight. I didn't take this championship from Sasha Banks and end her numbers game and her grip on this championship just to do the exact same thing she did. Just tell your friend to keep her nose out of our business, and I'll tell my friends to keep their nose out of your business. And then it'll just be us at WrestleMania, like it needs to be. And then Kathy walks off and Shantae goes, yeah, that's kind of right. 61, Eric Rowan was kind of tired towards the end of the match, and he's also not as over. But I did set this to be a wild brawl, because in real life this would be quite fun. But Rowan does pick up the win over Brody King in 11:21. 51 for Eric Rowan, 73 for Brody King. I didn't set the finish here, but it is just Brody and Rowan out there. The other House of Black members and the other Wyatt 7 members aren't with them. Actually, no, that's a lie. Aleister Black and Ciampa are there, but no other members of the Wyatt 7 are there. But yeah. But then it is a weird Wyatt 7 message that appears on the screen that, distracts Brody and allows Rowan to pick up the win. But then after the match, the Wyatts appear on the screen. Uncle Howdy, he's sitting in his chair. The Wyatts are all around him, apart from Susie. And he goes, Aleister Black, Brody. First, last week, it was your friend Ciampa The man who sacrificed himself for your cause. Who you're not treating right. You ripped a man away from his friends and his family to join yours. And you left him to die last week. And tonight, Brody, you went at it with my favorite son. My first son. My first follower. Brother. And you left another one of yours alone to die. And then the camera pans and Susie is there. She's got Kelsey all tied up in the weird white six layer. Then Uncle Howdy goes, Aleister Black, you think you can get in people's heads. You think you're great at playing mind games. Well, your family is paying the consequences. And if you're not careful, not only will you lose those tag team championships, but you'll lose your family. We then get a Bloodline. Speaking of family and losing your family, we get Paul Heyman narrating a Bloodline lore video package. And he's just going over this chapter of the Bloodline story, you know, starting from WrestleMania last year where Jey Uso won the ECW title, to The Rock hiring the Tongans and Vince Russo to try and kill ECW, to, you know, ECW coming back, to the Tongans debuting Big Talatonga and turning on The Rock turning on Roman in War Games, The Rock booting Solo out, Solo coming back to stand by his brothers, all of it. This chapter of the Bloodline story. And then he ends it off and he goes, Dwayne, I know you're watching and I know you're busy and I know you're listening. But next week, you leave the Tongans. We'll leave the Usos and we'll leave Solo. It'll just be me, you, and your tribal chief. And we can finally reveal to the world the terms of tribal warfare. Because this family, your family, our family, isn't strong enough to go on like this. So at WrestleMania, it will end. Then cut to, you see Liv backstage, you know, stretching. When Ruby Riott walks up to her, she goes, Hey, Livy, I heard you had a match tonight, coming up next, actually. And Liv goes, Yeah, I'm sure you did hear. You know, what's this all about? Okay, I'm hearing I've got Blair Davenport, no holds barred. She goes, Oh, no, Liv, I understand. You know, everything between us is still not good. And you and I, we still don't see eye to eye. But I'm forgiving of everybody, including people who are no longer my friends and used to be my friends. So Liv, I scratch your back and you can scratch mine. Tonight, you've got one of the number one contenders at WrestleMania. No holds barred. You love that, right? Crazy Liv, you know, the chance to show the world how extreme you can get. And if you can beat one of the number one contenders with the ECW Women's Championship, Liv, who knows, maybe after WrestleMania, I can remember this little conversation and you and I can run it back one more time for this, when I'm still the champion. And Liv sort of just stands up and she goes, There's nobody on this roster that you've tried to gaslight and manipulate more than me, Ruby. I see exactly through you. I don't believe a word you're saying to me. But you know, you're right. I will go out there and I'll show the world how good I am and how extreme I am. And then I'm going to come for that championship whether you've got it or not. I'm not going to win out there, not because of you, not to help you, but for myself, to raise my profile and get myself back to where I belong. Watch me. And then she just walks off and Ruby just chuckles to herself and goes, Great. Two people I hate, they're going to kill each other. I can't wait. Someone give me my popcorn. Before then, though, we get the Paragon. Dolph Ziggler, he's pacing around. He goes, Paragon's numbers are high, but the stakes have never been higher, JC and gentlemen. WrestleMania is just around the corner, and Kevin and David Fritz are out of the Tag Team Championship picture this year. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal will be them, and it will have Paragon involvement. And trust me, boys, one of you two is going to bring that trophy home and be the first piece of trophies to be brought back to the Paragon locker room. And you, JC, you're going to do the same. You're going to win the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. And of course, myself, I'm going to become the new television champion. And then the Paragon will all pick up victories in Las Vegas. Then Cesaro steps up. And he goes, "You're only half right there, Dolph. You see, the Paragon will all pick up victories in Vegas, and the TV championship will be in this locker room after WrestleMania, but it won't be you who wins it, it'll be me. Just remember when I beat you to prove that I was the one who belonged as the ECW television champion out of us two?" And Dolph goes, "Yeah. What about it, Swiss? WrestleMania is a different story. When I'm at WrestleMania, I'm on another level." Cesaro just chuckles and he goes, "That's weird because I remember last year you lost at WrestleMania because of me. And this year, that's going to happen again." He just sort of walks off smiling to himself, and Dolph Ziggler just looks at him angry, and JC goes, "Don't let him get to you. We can't not be on the same page this close to WrestleMania, because if you're not, then it's anyone's game and you might both come up short. Okay, you laugh it off, Dolph, laugh it off." And Dolph goes, "Huh? Ha ha ha. 78, sure, I'll take that." Blair Davenport defeats Liv Morgan 1v1 no holds barred in 14:27. 85 for Blair, 75 for Liv. Blair does take a beating in this match. He probably does get a cut on her nose or like something. Like, I visibly need her to look beaten up for a segment coming up in a minute. But yeah, she does manage to eke out the victory over Liv because, you know, she's the one in the WrestleMania Championship match. 85 for Blair, 75 for Liv. Sure. We then cut to Adam Cole, baby. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania just over a week away, and Adam Cole, baby, finds himself with some familiar enemies in that ring. WrestleMania 2 years ago, it was myself and Bobby Roode as part of the Paragon. Across the ring from us stood Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, my old best friend Kevin Owens. Last week, Adam Cole, baby, sorry, not last week, last year, Adam Cole, baby, WrestleMania stood across the ring from Dolph Ziggler. An enemy who then became an ally, who then became an enemy again. He became an ally because he joined the Paragon because I beat him at WrestleMania with the help of my good old friend Swiss. Now, despite everything that has gone on between myself and the Paragon Swiss, Cesaro, you know I've got a lot of respect for you, a lot of respect. And I truly hope that once you see the light and you stop listening to Dolph Ziggler, that we can get that respect back. But as for the other two gentlemen in that match, for Dolph Ziggler and the self-proclaimed People's Champion, I beat you both. Sure, Kevin Owens has beaten me a couple of times, so has Dolph Ziggler, but hey, Adam Cole, baby, he ain't keeping track. WrestleMania, it's time for me to get myself back in the spotlight. Bobby and Kyle and Roddy, they're off defending those trios championships, and they're going to pick up the victory too. And we're once again going to hold all the gold in the Undisputed Era after WrestleMania, when I, to overcome 3 of my greatest rivals, to become the new television champion. Boom. We then cut to the women's locker room. A very beat up Blair Davenport with like a bandage over her nose or whatever comes to the ring. Oh, not to the ring, to the locker room. And Thunder Rosa and Florence are in there just having a chat. And Blair storms in and just sits down a half. And Florence just laughs and goes, "Mate, you look rough." She goes, "Sorry? Who asked you to speak?" "You know what? I'm so glad that you're here, Florence. Maybe I can tell you face to face rather than out there on the big screen what's going to happen to you. Because you think this is so funny, right? You think this happening to me is funny? Well, it won't be in a moment when it happens to you, because you are also going to be in a little no-holds-barred match tonight. It's ECW after all, and you're going to face Alba Fire and Iona Webb And then Thunder Rosa steps in and goes, hey, you can't book both of those women against Florence. And Blair goes, she booked 4 against Ruby. Okay, what is that? Now all of a sudden it's bad because the Golden Girl is getting ganged up on in there. Thunder Rosa goes, hey, you know what? If it's no disqualification, no holds barred, I'll be out there. I'll have her back. Blair goes, great. Let's make it a tag match then. Sure, I don't care. So yeah, the main event chosen by Blair Davenport is Florence and Thunder Rosa against Alba Farno and Webb of the Unholy Union in a no-holds-barred match. But then, we cut to a pre-tape of a church. The Messiah walks into the church with Sheamus' necklace that he stole last week. And his apostle, Apollo Crews, is by his side. And Apollo, he steps up to, the podium. He starts speaking and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, last week a pretender was put down. Last week, Sheamus, who rejected the advances of the Messiah, who rejected the beliefs of the Messiah, who doesn't want to be a part of the Church of Moose, but carried around an ornament, a fake ornament, to pretend that he was one of us. The Messiah put him in his place. And now this is a physical peace offering to the Messiah. One grand prize to be donated away to the cause of the Messiah. But it sure won't be the last, because there's one great prize that the Messiah has his eyes on too. There's one thing that will mean even more than this, and that's that Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. Donating the eighth wonder of the world to the foundation, to the Church of Moose, means that the Messiah's positive energy, it means the Messiah's following can rise all around the world as we can all take and pray and say hallelujah to the Messiah. But first, next week, him and Sheamus will go one-on-one, and once he puts him down for good, then we can all start believing in Moose Mania. Amen. 85, holy fuck. ZSJ versus Austin Theory. Speaking of the Andre Battle Royal, this is a nice little teaser between two people in that match. And ZSJ does defeat Austin Theory 12-22 by submission. 75 for Theory, 93 for ZSJ. So yeah, nice little win heading into WrestleMania for him. Next week is ECW's Go Home show, and there will be some big segments on tap for that one, including Sheamus versus the Messiah, as the Messiah's apostle Apollo Crews did just declare in that segment we just saw. Sheamus, he has that cross. Moose has taken exception to that. Will Sheamus become a believer in the Messiah? We'll have to find out next week. Plus, champion versus champion, following the angle earlier on tonight where Ruby Riott joined Naomi in an attack on Next Gen. It'll be the ECW $1 Million champion Kathy Gould against ECW Women's champion Ruby Riott next week. And The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman, nobody else, just those three, will officially declare the rules of tribal warfare at WrestleMania. And speaking of tribal warfare, it was officially made official last week. Roman Reigns will team with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa against The Rock and the Tongans at WrestleMania. Tribal warfare. 87. We'll take that. I saw excellent chemistry, but I forgot that was for the Unholy Union. I thought that's for Florence and Thunder Rosa, but it's fine. But yes, Florence does pick up the victory, so yeah. Technically, Ruby was the only one who lost, but she lost by DQ, so it doesn't really count. Florence pins Iona Webb with a rain flow in 1746. 66 for Thunder Rosa, 87 for Florence, 69 for Iona Webb, 95 for Alba Fire. So yes, big win for Florence and Thunder Rosa here to close out ECW, but after the match, Blair Davenport jumps the barricade. She takes Florence down. Thunder Rosa tries to fight her off. Alba Fire and Iona Webb beat up Thunder Rosa. They toss Thunder Rosa to the outside. And then we see Alba Fire and Iona Webb in the ring. They start joining in on Blair's assault of Florence. You know, they both pick her up by one of the arms each and sort of like hold her in place as Blair starts booting her in the face. And then we see Ruby Riott sort of walk out, like just onto the ramp, like just standing there, just watching, like confused, like just taking it all in, like smiling. You can see she's a little bit concerned because Blair has, you know, left Florence laying. She sort of like knees her in the face as Alba and Iona hold her up. She orders them to pick her back up. She knees her in the face again. Just two big stiff knees. And she like stands with her foot on her chest. Arm in arm with the Unholy Union as Ruby Riott watches on like, this might be a problem. But that ends the show, which gets us 81. Thunder Rosa was slightly overused. Fine. You know, there's only one way to quickly get her up to become a player in this division. And that's to put her in spots like this. I think it's funny that she got that ding and Iona Webb didn't. So that's funny. I guess because she was in the segment as well. So, yeah. But yeah, what matters more is what you thought of the show. You know, no Bloodline stuff this week because, you know, I only have one Bloodline segment that I can really think to do left. So, you know, we just got a lore dump this week. But yes, do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown. See you then.